Getting into Leodon's character, I agree in the beginning, she's kind of annoying, because she's like, she's kind of like Beth in Little Women, a little bit, in the fact that she's really homey and really domesticized, and she's just like, I just want to stay home and work in my garden and take care of my parents and blah 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 blah. But then there's an event that changes all that really abruptly, and I think her true character comes out, and that's when you're like, yeah, you're awesome, I like you, please stay this way. She's got the biggest balls out of any female character I've come across in a really long time, and you will find out, I promise you. The last part of Daughter of the Forest, I haven't read that book as much, so I don't know it as well, so it's kind of iffy in my mind. I think the last part kind of resolves itself, or at least kind of evens itself out of what you would call your frustration or whatever in the second book, just in the way they portray the evolution of Red and Sorka's marriage and what goes on at Seven Waters and how they play their own parts, and then what happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's heavy, man. It's heavy. So I think that kind of resolves itself in a way. You talked about including the Danes and other tribes and stuff like that. And while I don't really know if she necessarily does that in these books, although she does in the second book, you see a lot more characters from outside of their specific tribe or community or culture or whatever, and outside of Red's community as well. So you get people other than the Britons and the Celts or whatever they are. You do get an Ethiopian, so he's in there. So yeah, racial diversity. But if you're talking more specific, like whole communities, communities as a whole, rather than just individual characters who come from different backgrounds, a lot of her books, all her books don't focus on this same culture that Sorka and Red are from. They actually vary from all over, and she's written, I know a couple of her books are based on Norse mythology and Norsemen and Vikings and stuff like that, and that's really interesting, because I would have never thought I'd read a book about Viking culture and stuff like that. But it's, I mean, the only thing that really stays the same throughout a lot of her books is there is, in some of the relationships of her characters, there's a kind of formulaic predictability to it, but that's not always the case. But I mean, with any author, you have strengths and you have weaknesses, and you have some books that are much better than others and some that are just kind of you know. So I mean, she has some of those, but I think the Seven Waters trilogy is definitely one of her strongest, and I think the Bride Chronicles are her other strongest, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, so she knows a lot about mythology from that whole kind of Western European area from that time period, which I think is really cool because she incorporates so much of it. And even though it is mythology, because it's historical mythology and she's done her research and stuff like that, it's really interesting to get kind of an insight into how people during those time periods would have viewed things, or, you know, done things or whatever. I'm trying to think what else I want to say. I haven't finished Flashman yet, simply because when I come home from school, I do one of two things. I either get really into a book or two and just do nothing but read for like a week, or I just can't read anything and I just sit in front of the TV and watch like How It's Made, Mythbusters, Jerry Springer, whatever shit is on. That's just what I do. And since I'm sick, that's kind of what I've gone for, is just chilling in front of the TV when I'm not cleaning the kitchen or mowing the lawn, which I'm supposed to be doing, but the lawnmower is broken, so I can't. And all that stuff. I think you'll really like Son of the Shadows, and I will let you know when I finish Flashman. I think you'll really like it. I think Child of the Prophecy is kind of, it's not necessarily a letdown. It's a great finish to the trilogy. It's just, I'm so obsessed with Leodon and her character and the other protagonist in that, and just their storyline and everything, that I think it could have been a Pulitzer winner, the last book, and I probably still wouldn't have liked it as much as I like this book. But that's just me. You showed The Wild Swans, and I have a copy of The Wild Swans, and I wanted to show you because I love this. here's my Hans Christian Andersen The Wild Swans book that I've had since I think the illustration's great. I wanted to be an illustrator when I was little. I don't have the artistic talent to do it necessarily, but it's the same thing. Since it's Hans Christian Andersen, it's the same plotline. So there you see all the brothers and stuff like that. I think there's 11, probably. The reason why I pulled this out, especially, oh come on, how can you not love? Look at the artistry in that. Isn't that insane? Isn't that crazy? Oh, I love my illustrated books. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna do a whole nother video right now about some of my favorite children's illustrated books just because I'm obsessed with them and I think you'd enjoy it. The one picture I wanted to show you from this right now, though, I think you'll find very familiar. You might laugh at me, but I think you should see it. Is, if I can find it, I know it's in here. Ha! Here it is. Look at that. It's like in your book almost. Isn't that crazy? Look, they're carrying... You can't really see. They're carrying her. Oh, oh. Which way does the camera go? They're carrying her in her little basket. And it's all of them. Floating across the sky. I'll show more pictures in the other video I'm gonna make right now. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about Daughter of the Forest. I think probably. If there's anything else I missed, let me know. And I will include it later when I do an actual vlog, when I'm not running snot down my nose and I brush my hair. Bye!